touch all your seatbelts, your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your...
Well, welcome aboard, Sigma Race fans. We come at you here. Hold on. My mic was not out of the headset. Welcome, everyone. Sigma Bridge to Cup racing action here on a Saturday morning from Watkins Glen. 54 laps the distance here today, and it should be a good one. Part of the Bowling for Victory 132, 132 miles around Watkins Glen. Unpredictable as all. You never know what's going to happen here today. As you have your starting lineup here tonight, this morning. I'm going to have to retrain my brain here already today. This morning, Cannon Gage and Lefty Turner, your points leader on the front row there. Followed by The next row back, it's going to be the 95 of Sebastian Galloway Jr. and the 99 of Shy Turtle. Snake Plissken and Joey Johnson, the 81 and the 82 car. Sarah Taylor and Santi Messi. Alan Malcolm and Philip Purpura. Ralph Oberstadt and Alex Sanvital. Kat Durham and Chase Kovacic. Trevor Vaden and Kat Durham. Trevor Vaden and Finlay Herwig, what the heck am I saying? Kat Durham was ahead of that in the row there. Trevor Vaden and Finlay Herwig, let's start that all over. And then you have Ryan White and Timothy Buchanan. Justin Day 2 and Billy Lovejoy. Cam Jordan and Campbell Marsh. Jeffrey Gerald and Krista Cower. Ryan Little and Jonah Burridge. Silent Amethyst and Jack Davis. Jason So and Adam Starr with Kyler Sestre, Andrew Moger, and Eli the Wolf and Tim Morse rounding out the field here today.
Favors. Gentlemen, start your engine!
As mentioned, Lefty Turner currently your points leader after 10 races through the season so far. We're coming off from Nashville, last race out. And we're rolling here tonight in Watkins Glen. They're going to come dog piling into turn 1 here, which is always Calamity Corner. And it looks like everyone's going to make it through Calamity Corner here this morning. Cannon Gage off to the early lead. He gets around the 1 of Lefty Turner with ease. The 99 of Shy Turtle moves up into second. There's drivers flying all around the track. Sebastian had to go through the grass there to make that turn, and he's going to fall back a little bit. Looks like everyone makes it through that turn. So it's a wild and crazy first lap here at Watkins Glen today. Shy Turtle trying to take second away from Lefty Turner right there. So Cannon Gage out to the early lead since switching over to Dodge midway through the season here. Fastest lap, of course. That ain't quite accurate. There's no way he turned a 44.018 here. Correct. These are simulated races where NR2003 runs itself with the AI in the game. What we do here in Sigma, we set them up. We have a server. Everyone picks a number, picks a sponsor, and I've typically painted up majority of the cars, but we have other people in the server that do paint their own cars. And so it's kind of fun because you get people that join that are painters, get to see their car out there racing. Kind of a whole package deal where you get to paint your own car, get to watch your own car race. Championships are crowned throughout the year. And it's been a thing that I put together back 16 years ago now, and I've kept it going. It didn't come to YouTube until after COVID. I decided to bring it to YouTube when COVID hit, because I could see when iRacing did their special deal during COVID that people are actually interested in this kind of stuff. And so that was kind of the jolt I needed to, bring it to YouTube, give it a home, and the community's actually thrived and grown bigger than I thought it would. So And it's been cool, you know, networking and connecting with new people that are also race fans. Some people that are no longer near as big of a race fan of NASCAR in its current state, which is kind of crazy that you make fan friends like that, and people that are fans, obviously, of the current. I've never given up on NASCAR, even when they did the playoff format, the eliminations and stuff. I've always just been a big fan of race cars through and through. So make up our own little fictional fantasy world, kind of like NASCAR D&D, basically. And so right now, Cannon Gage up front leading. He's been part of some other NR2003 offline ventures. One in particular is the Instagram offline series that I had found. And I recruited him to come race here in the Sigma Speedster Interglobal Motorsports Association Racing Series. And it still has not found a race win, so he usually won a lot of races over there on the Instagram offline series, but it's been a tough one here on Sigma. New fastest lap in the race belongs to Joey Johnson, who's up to 4th there. He's right ahead of the 81, the Outlaw, Snake Plissken. Shy Turtle, though, I think trying to prove, our Canadian in the field here, that his one race win a couple weeks ago was no fluke. He ended up coming home victorious at... Oh, I want to say it was it North Wilkesboro? Man, I'm going to have to go through my... I'm going to go to the website real quick and check the results for the last couple weeks. I don't know why I can't remember. Been a lot going on. Oh, so it was the last race at Nashville that he ended up winning. So he wants to prove that that race win was no fluke by any means, sitting there in 2nd. But he's got the points leader right there behind him, the one of Lefty Turner. And even Joey Johnson of Jimmy Logano Racing in 4th there, who's up in the top 3 in points as well. Shy Turtle, it's kind of, been a late resurgence since he joined the Cadillac team after starting this year on the All-Canadian Racers Chevrolet. Well, when he left, that All-Canadian Racers team no longer had their Canadian. And he's been running a lot stronger on this new team. Battle for 3rd brewing there is the 82. Joey Johnson looking to try and get around Lefty Turner. So far, 7 laps in here tonight in the Bowling for Victory 132 here at Watkins Glen. The top 5 really have broken away from the rest of the field behind them. Whoa, Snake Plissken, he flings that thing around the corner there, loses a little bit of ground. There's a couple battles starting to brew here in the top 4. No big drama in the first 8 laps. All cars still out there running, all 34 of them. Albeit some a little bit further from the lead than others. But what's impressive is the battle up front staying pretty tight. Especially at a road course, you would think a lot of the cars would start to break away and build a bigger gap than this. When you still have 5 cars very much within the lead range there, that's very promising for a good battle down to the finish here today. So for those of you new to Sigma Racing, road courses, we don't throw typical or traditional cautions for the most part. So we'll run right through a spinner if it doesn't slow down or impede the flow of racing here. I mean, if there's a track jam, which happens here at Watkins Glen very many times in real life, where you've had a car come sliding across the track, collect 5 more cars, then you have no room to get around them. That would facilitate a full course caution. So yeah, here at Sigma in road course racing, it's more like F1 style, where we won't throw the caution unless we necessarily have to. And that definitely plays into the strategy game here, as the drivers don't know when a caution might fall. They got to figure out when is the right time to make my pit stops. Do I take the undercut? Do I take the overcut? Shy Turtle's right there on the back bumper of Cannon Gauge as they come drag racing down the long front stretch at Watkins Glen here. Battle for the lead. Shy Turtle going around the outside of the number 2 of Cannon Gauge. He's going to have that inside line on this next turn here. Cannon Gauge fighting. They're going to drag race down the front stretch. Who's got the lead this time? Still, the advantage goes to Shy Turtle, who's got that inside line. He's credited with leading that lap. Ah, man, and Cannon Gauge goes right back around him. But goes to show you that the battle is on. And that kind of helped close the gap from the other drivers behind. Your top 5 as tight as they've been here today. 11 laps in, 43 laps to go. Shy Turtle trying something different here, and that's going to get him up into the rumble strips there. The 1 of Lefty Turner's got that inside line running now. Here he is going into turn 1. Shy Turtle's going to defend, kind of cuts him low there. Keep second for now. These two know each other from their time over on the Instagram offline racing series. Cannon Gauge and Shy Turtle. How wild is it that we have a 1-2 battle here with the NR2003 Instagram series here over in Sigma. Well, while we got our lead settled down for a little bit here, let's do a through the field Sigma style. Obviously a race leader, the number 2 of Cannon Gauge, followed by the 99 of Shy Turtle, the 1 of Lefty Turner, the 82 of Joy Johnson, and the 81 of Snake Plissken. Santi Messi, you just cannot seem to hold him back. He's going to find a way to move to the front no matter what track, no matter what time of the day it is. That 84 machine moving up there again. He's in 6th, and he's actually starting to close the gap on the top 5 there. Then it's Philip Purpura in the 31 machine. The 95 of Sebastian Galloway Jr. The old man still looking for race win number 1 here in Bridge to Cup. Then it's Alex Sanvital and Chase Kovacic. The big surprise win earlier this year at Fontana. Chase Kovacic having a decent run here in the top 10. Ralph Oberstadt running in 11th. Then it's Sarah Taylor, Alan Malcolm, Kat Durham, and Ryan White. Followed by Trevor Vaden, Timothy Buchanan, Billy Lovejoy, and Finley Herwig, your mid-pack right about there. And then it's Justin Day 2, Krista Cower, Campbell Marsh. It's been a tough bit of races for him after winning the first 2 of the season. He has not been anywhere near victory lane or the front of the field. 16 of Jeffrey Gerald, the 65 of Cam Jordan, followed by Jason So, Silent Amethyst, Jonah Burridge, Ryan Little, Kyler Sestre, Adam Starr, Tim Morse, Jack Davis, and Andrew Moger. Eli the Wolf, the slowest on track, tracking all the way at the back. 1 minute, 6 seconds is his fastest lap when your leaders are in the 104 bracket. So back to the lead with Cannon Gage here as we have 40 laps left here from Watkins Glen. Pit strategy will start to factor in a little while as they've made it pretty far in this first stint. We'll see what the game plan is for your leaders. Who decides to pit first? Who decides to pit second, and what's going to be the winning strategy here today. The more they battle, the more things kind of get spread out, and then the more it gets closed back together. Your top 2 building the biggest lead they've had all day long. Trying to get away from the other 3 drivers there. As long as they kind of cooperate and coordinate, they can kind of push away from the rest of the field behind them. Cannon Gage doing something we have not yet seen here in Bridge to Cup from him. He is normally not one to run up front and lead a bunch of laps, so great run out of the number 2 team there, switching over from Cadillac to Dodge, which was kind of a bold move in its own because Cadillac's been so strong lately. Dodge has been decent, but not the same level as Cadillac. Well, the Cadillac team he was racing for was struggling, and they didn't have all their parts and pieces together. So he went ahead, hopped in, wanted to race something a little bit closer to his daily driver, which is Dodge Charger Hellcat. And there we go. Went ahead and got the Hellcat Dodge Charger inspired number 2 machine built for the Sigma Bridge to Cup series. He's kind of mired deep in the points. It's been, like I said, a rough season for Cannon Gage. He switched from number 5 over to number 2 here. Actually, not as bad as I thought. He's up to 9th in the points, so it's kind of just, another step up the ladder, you might say. He had an average finish of 14th through the first 10 races. Best finishes of 5th twice and 8th twice. And today might be going even further than that. Might be able to beat his best finish by quite some. From a 5th at which tracks? Daytona and Dover, of all places. Dover's an interesting one because that doesn't really... Those are 2 completely different tracks, different skill sets. And then all of a sudden here at Watkins Glen on a road course. So he's shown his versatility going across 3 different track types and having some very impressive speed. For that pit window, I do feel like the opportunity will start to open up once you get past halfway here today. It's a shorter race that these Bridge to Cup stars are used to. So the strategy does just kind of shake up a little differently. 28 would be halfway. And if they could do that, they can make it on a 1-stopper here today. But if they can't make it quite to lap 28, they might have to be a 2-stopper to make it through to the finish. And that's where you're going to see the big gainers, the big losers, because there'll be folks that try something to try and get an edge on the racetrack, try to get up through the field, and there'll be a few that make those mistakes trying too hard on pit road. Crazy. Early morning stream, and this is the best my internet's looked, I think, ever. We haven't had any buffers. We haven't had any trouble. Usually in majority of our evening streams, that's when the internet does not want to cooperate for me. If only I hadn't, didn't have the day job Monday through Friday, we could do stuff like this. So Saturday it is for anything earlier than what we normally do. I've been hard at work at making Tri-City Raceway for NASCAR Racing 2003. Kind of neat. One of the things I'd found was that it's one of those tracks that would have been around back in the day when the game first came out in 2003, which would actually make this game more complete with the inclusion of said track. There's a few people out there I've read on, posts and requests and questions about, getting the game more complete to the 2003 benchmark. I'm excited, and hopefully we can get that track done before the end of the year, as I'm going to try to go very detailed to make it more accurate to the 2026 depiction of the racetrack. It'll be close enough, but if for the people that want to do simulations of the 2003 season, like we do with the Sigma Cup Series here, offline races where you can just sim them, there'll be one more track from 2003, which would get you that much closer to everything simmable here in NR 2003. So that's the thing. Our Tri-City Raceway hosts the NASCAR ARCA West, which back then in the day it used to be the K&N West Series. I don't know if before that was the Winston West. Might have been the case. So there's definitely some NASCAR events being hosted at Tri-City Raceway back in 2003. And then unfortunately, the track closed down in 2004. Majority of my lifespan, I never knew racing at Tri-Cities like we do today, or back when it was originally open. They used to have weekly races. They used to have, they had racing almost every week there. It sounded like would have been the time to be around to watch racing here in Washington State, because it was crazy. And so the fact that they've brought it back from the dead in 2021, it's been awesome. It's been worth it, every penny that they put into it. And I have been to almost every race. I missed a couple when they were running on Saturdays when I lived out of the area. But it's awesome. And I'm glad to be the one to build the track. And there's a lot of people excited about it as well. Your top two really building a gap here Shy Turtle hasn't been able to show much of an advance on Cannon Gauge lately, as Cannon Gauge is kind of controlling it right now. This would be a long overdue race win for Cannon Gauge. He's been a part of the series for, I think, nearly 2 years at this point. And not to find victory lane for 2 years is actually pretty crazy. But I don't want to jinx it. Commentators jinx is a thing, and I'm always front row seat to be the first one to make the mistake of calling it, and then them getting wrecked out, blow an engine, have a flat tire, whatever it might be that knocks them out of the race. And the only thing that Cannon Gauge has to worry about is Shy Turtle right there in second. It's going to be probably all the way through the finish of this race that those two are going to be duking it out. But Cannon is going to have an opportunity to try and break away once pit stops start happening. He can start to either build a gap or go off strategy and put himself on fresher pair tires to try and charge to the finish and keep the 99 behind him. Alrighty, we got past halfway. Sorry, I stepped away there. You're watching it all live. And already, it looks like some folks did decide to pit, but your leaders had not yet. Cannon Gage makes his pit stop now, and it's good to go to that, the second half, obviously, that we've made it past halfway. Shy Turtle, your new race leader, as Cannon Gage takes the undercut here, pits first of the lead two. But a couple other of the drivers in the background pitted. That could change things up a little bit, as they're going to be out there on fresher tires. They might be able to gain about a second a lap for the first couple laps under fresh tires. Looks like Snake Plissken is staying out with the 99 here of Shy Turtle. They're going to try to stretch it as long as they can. We're going to have to see where things shake out after the pit stops here. So definitely, one stopper race. Not having to worry about fuel mileage here today. Everyone that has pitted should be able to make it to the finish for the second half of the race here this morning. And there you go. That 99 of Shy Turtle makes his pit stop, as does the 82 of Joey Johnson, the 84 of Santi Messi. Finlay Herwig already pitted, so that's a lap down car. Chase Kovacic, Alex Sanvital, Ralph Oberstadt, Tim Morse, Trevor Vaden from 12th. Timothy Buchanan's going to stay out a little bit longer here. Might be the last of them not yet to pit. We saw Eli the Wolf down pit road. Jonah Burridge staying out. Alrighty, the big indicator right here. There's the 2 of Cannon Gage blowing around the 99 of Shy Turtle. That's the advantage of pitting early. He's got a big gap on the 99 of Shy Turtle already. The only time that Shy Turtle is actually going to have the advantage is if those fresh tires actually kick in on the long run here, and he starts to catch the number 2 of Cannon Gage. But for now, looking like a masterful plan to pit early, get the advantage, and get back out there fighting for the win. It's going to be 23 laps left to go here once they come across the line. And then you got the other 2 that had not yet pitted. Looks like the 85 is actually going to be credited with a lap lead there. Timothy Buchanan stayed out long enough to lead a lap. That's the bonus points in his pocket. And so here we go. Cannon Gage turned a 105. Shy Turtle's on his warm-up lap there. About 1 lap the difference. We'll see if it even makes a difference towards the end of the race here. Cannon Gage has led all but I think about 3 laps here today, as we will look now and see. Your lap counter looks a little bit something like this. 26 laps led by Cannon Gage. 1 lap led by Timothy Buchanan, and 3 laps led by Shy Turtles. So Cannon Gage has led all but 4 here this morning. Dang it. Yeah, my brain is locked in on the night broadcasts here. You obviously know I'm out of my wheelhouse here this morning by doing a early morning broadcast, because I'm still in the late night state of mind. But we got 22 laps to go here from Watkins Glen. It's been quite the stellar performance here from Cannon Gage. Is he going to be able to maintain this distance, or will Shy Turtle close that gap and fight for the win here in the end of the race? Be a pretty wild story to have the number 2 machine here of Cannon Gage go to victory lane after switching manufacturers right in the middle of a season. Looks like we might have a retirement. I see the pit board down on pit road there. Adam Starr suffered a header failure, so he is out of the race, credited with 34th here today. The only out a mechanical failure here today. No big wrecks, no craziness. It's been pretty much follow the leader here at Watkins Glen. The only thing that would slow this race down is if we had an oil down or a leak on track that forced a full force caution, a double file restart, which I'm sure Cannon Gage does not want to see that. He just wants it to go green, green, green all the way to the finish here so that he can seal the deal. Nothing sweeter than your first ever victory. Just look at Shy Turtle a couple weeks ago when he got his first career victory. That thing, I still think he's partying from the race wins. So if Cannon Gage can get the job done, it'll be nearly 3 years of grit and determination finally paying off. As he's been in the truck series, he's been, I want to say he maybe made a start or two in ARCA. But of course, Bridge to Cup has kind of been his new home lately. And trying to come back into the series, he wanted to switch over to the manufacturer. And when I say come back, he just wanted to get back into watching and following the series after being away for so long. The car still ran, but that's the way we run it in the series. If you're away from, the server for long, we'll still hold you in the series. We don't want to kick you out if you're not active. That's the idea for me, is to try and give someone, maybe they, life gets busy and you decide, hey, I want to get back into this. And then you come back in and it gives you something to, reference back for a whole year of content that's been working since you were busy. And you come to find out you won like 5 races or something. It'd be like finding, a free gift card that you forgot you had in your driver's seat compartment. It's just kind of like a bonus. It's a freebie. And that's what I like to make this an experience of, is even if you're busy, we don't want to kick you out. It's kind of been touch and go. I mean, obviously, if you leave the server, that's one thing. When you leave, we'll work you out of the system by the end of the year, as you're no longer interested at all. But as long as you're a part of the server, following along whenever you have the time to do so, because it's not like you have to follow it, that's all that matters. That's what's fun about it for me. I just can't believe that I've had the stick-to-itiveness to keep it rolling for, this will be 16, 17 years basically at this point, since 2010. Crazy. And I'm already trying to brainstorm on what the next evolution of the series is going to look like. My life's going to get pretty busy with the new life changes on the way here. And with those life changes coming around the corner, I know that I think shrinking and trying to limit the timetable that I spend with the series is going to be huge. And whether that looks like maybe we cut it down to 2 or 3 series rather than 4 full series, that it's in the thought, plans right now. Definitely Want to be able to give everyone that's been a part of the server, been a valued member of the community for so long, the best treatment. And for those that have been here since day one, when we opened up on YouTube, you're going to be fine. You don't have anything to worry about. We'll figure out a way to keep you in the show. Schedules might shrink a little bit. ARCA might evolve, or it might disappear. I don't know. That really, I mean, the fun part is that ARCA and trucks are so short already, 1 hour races, that it's almost no time out of my day to, you know, make a quick 1 hour broadcast. I think shrinking the schedules is going to be key. And maybe shrinking ARCA and trucks even more, so that the races are like 30 minutes. More like a YouTube style broadcast rather than a Fox Sports broadcast. You don't have to worry about commercials. You know, most of those races today would probably done in half an hour if it weren't for all the ARCA break moments, commercial breaks, and all that. So yeah, we could look into something like that, maybe making the ARCA series the super sprint, kind of the short races. The trucks, I would love to keep the trucks. The trucks have been awesome, but maybe make it a little bit more select, a little bit more of an elite group. Bridge to Cup's been the OG YouTube series since we started, and of course the Cup series ain't going nowhere. And I think to make it more appealing for people to try and get out of the lower leagues, we need to make it so that the Cup Series is that much more prestigious to get up into. And if the ARCA Series were to disband, we would be looking at a larger field here in Bridge to Cup. For the most part, I've been keeping Bridge to Cup limited to a 32 car to 34 car field. And obviously the carrot on the stick here with Bridge to Cup is you win the championship, you earn a chartered ride in Cup the following year. That'll remain the little carrot on the stick to try and get people excited about Bridge to Cup. Because, you know, if you win it, you're in a Cup car for the next year, and that in its own is a reward unlike any other. Cannon Gage gets around Eli the Wolf, putting him a lap down. That leaves us with 32 cars on the lead lap. Still no cautions here today. 14 laps left in the race in the Bowling for Victory 132. For those of you tuned in here this morning, thank you very much. Hopefully all are having a wonderful Saturday morning. Shy Turtle about to go around the 00 there of Eli the Wolf as well. That's actually his past car, so it's kind of crazy going from his, you know, old car to his new car side by side for a lap down exchange there. Now getting on his horse here again to try and run down the number 2 of Cannon Gage. Got some work to do. We're keeping an eye on race control to see if there is any more mechanical failures here today, and if anything would facilitate a full course caution. But so far, with 13 to go, nothing has showed up on the radar yet. expect some big announcements soon for the Bridge to Cup Championship setup this year. I do think we're going to go away from the bracket style championship. While it was kind of unique and interesting, it did not do a very good job at actually framing the correct champion the last couple years. So I'm already trying to figure out the best method for a program to put together for the chase, our championship, playoff, whatever it might come out to be. I want it to be something unique to Bridge to Cup, but also something that will reward the right people in the right places at the end of the year here. So with Watkins Glen today and Texas is next week, that'll be the midway point here in the regular season, 12 of 24. That'll give us a 12 race stretch. It'll give me a chance to actually conceive an idea for the championship. And we'll actually have something that we can kind of look into. Everything culminates at the championship finale, Moses Lake Motorplex, the home of our Sigma Racing Series, the track I built in NR2003. And it's going to be interesting to see these Bridge to Cup stars and whatever, platform or championship style they've got to bring it home to the home track of the series, and whoever will be crowned champion on home turf, which will be pretty neat. Looks like Shy Turtle trying to close that gap up a little bit. This is where the advantage will start to shine at the end of the race. A long green flag run. He's got one lap fresher tires and starting to close that gap up just a little bit, about a tenth a lap. If he keeps at the pace he's going, though, it's going to require him to nearly knock off 2/10 a lap or more with 10 laps left in the race. Yeah, it looks like he was able to knock off another tenth there, almost a tenth and a half. So we might have a battle brewing with 10 laps left to go for the win. Well, look at that. The gap still shrinking here between your two leaders. That was 2/10 the advantage to Shy Turtle. And even your points leader, Lefty Turner, keeping close up there. Close tabs on your lead, too. This time by, it was a 106.0 to a 105.9. So actually, Shy Turtle loses 2/10 there. And Cannon working his magic at the end of the race here. 1.8 seconds the advantage. With 7 laps to go, it's going to be hard to really close that gap. Much appreciated for everyone tuning in this morning. We do have a full slate next week at this point. I'm still running behind on the Sigma Elite Challenge, so I apologize. That was a case of me over-promising and under-delivering at this rate. I haven't gotten all the paint schemes done for the late models. We haven't run the first race of them. We haven't ran the second race of the vintage trucks at Hardwood Motordrome. But I think what I'm going to end up doing is running the late models first, as we're going to be almost at May right now, too. So the schedule will be a little bit revised for that Sigma Elite Challenge. But for trucks, next race on the calendar will be Nashville with the USA Trucks East Division for the Music City 161, which will be Monday. Battle brewing here for second. Lefty Turner wants to get around Shy Turtle there in the 99. As Cannon Gage building that gap once again. And then the ARCA race will be at Langley in Virginia. Should be a good one there. Virginia is for lovers 150. Our Cup Series heads on over to Sonoma. So some more road course racing under the lights at Sonoma, which has always been a wild race in the series. I am building all the tracks to try and have 47 pit stalls. I haven't dug into Sonoma yet, but we will try to look at that as well before the race happens. And then, of course, Bridge to Cup after tonight. Watkins Glen here today, in Texas next week on more than likely Friday. Was there any more mechanical failures? No, but it looks like the 29 must have had to pit for a flat tire. It was just a scheduled pit stop. It shows he had to make another pit stop in the race, and I don't know if everyone else is going to have to worry about that, if the 29 just had an unusually small tank here today. But Morse had to pit twice. I saw him down pit road a second time here out of the peripheral vision. There he is, 33rd, a couple laps down. Your top 10 as they run right now: Ralph Oberstadt in 10th, Alex Sanvital in 9th, Chase Kovacic in 8th, and then it is Sebastian Galloway Jr. in 7th, Philip Purpura in 6th, Snake Plissken in 5th, Joey Johnson in 4th, 3rd place Lefty Turner. Whoa, a little bit of bump action there. The one gets into the side. Whoa, and he just sends him for a bit of a slide job there through the turn. Gets into the 99 of Shy Turtle, asserting his position there for 2nd place with 4 laps to go. So position change right here within the last handful of laps. Lefty Turner, your points leader, wants to build that points lead a little bit more. I don't feel like he's going to have a shot at catching Cannon Gage here unless something absolutely terrible happens. Great transition of that lap there for Lefty Turner. He turned a 106.0 to a 106.0, your race leader. So almost identical lap times for your lead 2 there. They really have not had to deal with much lap traffic at all here today. Almost had me thinking he was going to make a pit stop, how low he entered that turn there. Not really closing that gap in on the leader at all. The one might just have to settle for second here today. Shy Turtle in third, followed by Joey Johnson and Philip Purpura now up to fifth, as Sebastian Galloway Jr. in sixth. Did we have an off with the 81 of Snake Plissken? What happened there? Oh, he's smoking. So that's lap traffic right there behind him, the 35 of Cat Durham. Ouch. What in the world happens here? Oh, he got hooked. Oofty. There's some oil down on track. We're going to throw a late race caution. A late race caution here, as he's going to be trying to get around the racetrack. That's a heartbreaker. A top 5 run demolished by a lapped car. It's never what you want to see. You never want to see a lap car get involved with a lead car like that. That's heartbreaking. We got some Sigma overtime here today. As we're under caution, we're going to get green-white checkers for the first time on our first restart here this morning. Everyone's going to have a shot to try and get stacked back up, fight for the race win. Cannon Gage did not want to see that at all. He was hoping that he could just coast to victory here today, but it's going to be at least one restart, if not more. If we have some more carnage going into turn 1, we might have multiple attempts at the green-white checkered here. If for Cannon Gage, though, all he's got to do is get one heck of a restart here and hope that the number 1 is asleep at the line as they'll drag race down into turn 1 on the restart. Yeah, the Outlaw is going to be ready to start scrapping. There might be some gunslinging fights after some of these races. Might have to get a MMA octagon to settle some feuds here. Something that I don't think anyone wants to hear right now is that fuel might be tight. They had enough fuel to make it to the finish of a 54-lap race. No one's going to pit. Everyone's going to be tight on fuel here for the final restart. of the race. We're we're in some rare air. We don't often see a late race green-white checkered at a road course like this. But just the way that caution fell, yeah, he got tail end of the field smart. They're deciding to pit, but track position is so huge here. If you pit it, you're also kind of, you know, you're giving up the race win at this point if you pit it. So I get it, but at the same time, I don't know what the right move to make is here. Lights are off on the pace car. We're going to get back and rolling here. As your leaders are shuffling around the lap traffic there to get them cycled to the back into the longest line for the lap cars. One restart to go, or maybe more. We'll see. If drivers start running out of gas, Sigma officials are going to have their hands tied to not throw the caution. They're going to have to throw the caution if we do have any problems with fuel. That poses a risk for safety. It poses a risk for the drivers, for the fans alike. So hopefully everyone's got enough fuel in the tank. We don't want to see anyone sputtering on the racetrack. Cannon Gage, all he's got to do is have the restart of his life here to earn his first ever career Sigma win, race win. Not just Bridged Cup, but race win in general. First ever win in the series. We're back and rolling. They're coming down the front stretch. The one of Lefty Turner with a great start. The two must be sputtering already. He's not getting a good restart at all. One of Lefty Turner looking to take his first ever win in Sigma. A couple drivers looking to maybe get an even better finish here than they would have without that caution. Looks like they're going to make it through the trouble turn there. No big wrecks, no problem. Lefty Turner, your points leader. He persevered here today. He's going to try to hold on for the biggest surprise win of the week. Second place, it is the 82 there of Joey Johnson. White flag waving. The race is official at this point. The 44 does not have enough fuel. No one else has enough fuel. It is pandemonium on this last lap. They're making their pit stops right at the white flag. That's not good. So, can the one of Lefty Turner make it to the start-finish line under pace? Are we going to see all of these leaders start running out of fuel on the last lap here? Lefty obviously was burning a bit more gas than most of them because he was up front fighting for the win here. He's got a long ways to go. Looks like no trouble so far. The one's going to come the last half of the racetrack here. I don't think he's going to be having any problems here unless he decides to pull off at the last lap, which I doubt you would do that on your last lap here. The one of Lefty Turner. He's going to be your race winner for the first time this year. Bringing it home in second, it's Joey Johnson. Third place, Cannon Gage. Fourth, Sebastian Galloway Jr. Fifth, Shy Turtle. Sixth, Alex Sanvital. Seventh, Philip Purpura. Eighth, Santi Messi. Ninth, Ralph Oberstadt. Then 10th, it is Trevor Vaden. Sarah Taylor, Alan Malcolm, Jeffrey Gerald, Cam Jordan, Jason So, Justin Day 2, Andrew Moger, Ryan Little, Campbell Marsh, top 20, Finley Herwig. And then it's Jack Davis, Chase Kovacic, Billy Lovejoy, 23rd, Timothy Buchanan, 24th, Chris DeCower, 25th, Silent Amethyst, 26th, Jonah Burridge, Ryan White, and that's about it. So there you have it, folks. Lefty Turner, your points leader, steals the show here today. Cannon Gage led all those laps, just be denied with a late race caution, unfortunately. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than super excellent. I feel for Cannon Gage as it's a race he should have won. But there will be more opportunities. We'll see him up front fighting for a win again before you know it. At least he can hang his hat on knowing he's that much closer to a race win here in the Sigma Racing Series. It'll be this year that he probably figures out a way to get the win. Just got to keep persevering and rising to the occasion like he has so far. Well, congratulations to Lefty Turner on getting the job done here today at Watkins Glen. It was a crazy good, exciting race for most of the night, most of the day. And come home with another new winner on the circuit. So that's a wrap for this week, folks. Gets us all caught back up until we get a chance to get caught up on the Sigma Elite Challenge next. So thanks again for tuning in. Hopefully all enjoyed the broadcast. We'll try to get some more action rolling your way next week, starting on Monday with the USA Trucks, Tuesday with the ARCA, Thursday with Cup, and Friday with some more of this Bridge to Cup action. So congratulations yet again, Lefty Turner, your points leader, building that points lead, and finally establishing himself with a race win. He was winless with the points lead for the longest time, and now he has one win to his name. So have a great day, have a great weekend, everyone. Stay safe out there, and until next time, this is Jakester signing out.